Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to the Morning Mindset. I have a question for you. Do you recognize the fact that you, as a believer in Jesus Christ, have escaped from the corruption that is in the world because of sinful desire? That is the truth we're looking at today in 2 Peter chapter 1. I encourage you, get your mind prepared right now. Take a deep breath. Push aside all the stress and the strain and the emotion that might be cropping up, and stop for a moment to focus with me on the truth of God so that we can get our minds aligned with it for today. We are looking at 2 Peter chapter 1, verse number 4, where Peter writes, God has granted to us his precious and very great promises so that through them you may become partakers of the divine nature, having escaped from the corruption that is in the world because of sinful desires. Now, when you read the scriptures, pay attention to the verb tenses. Now, I know we're going back to high school grammar here, but I apologize for that. Language and things like verb tenses are things we have to learn to pay attention to when we read the scriptures, because it really impacts the way we listen and the way that we learn and the way we understand what is going on in a passage. You see, when Peter says, having escaped, he's talking about something that's already done, something that happened in the past. So he's saying, by being one who is placed into Jesus Christ, in other words, a Christian, we have received this reality, that we have escaped from the corruption that's in the world because of sinful desire. So think of that word, escape. Imagine some big, bad, nasty boogeyman was chasing you down and you had an opportunity and you took it and you escaped somehow. There's a sense of relief, a sense of freedom, a sense of exaltation even, that you are out of danger. And you see, that is what Peter is trying to express to us here. You see, the world that we live in is a place that is corrupted and is becoming more corrupt all the time. I think all we have to do is look at world situations around us and the things that human beings do to human beings to recognize that is absolutely true. But Peter is saying we have an escape hatch. In fact, in Peter's words, we have already gone through the escape hatch by placing our faith in Jesus Christ. We have escaped from the corruption that's in the world. And that corruption comes about because of sinful desire, he says. You see, it was initially Adam and Eve's desire in the garden to take the fruit that God had said, do not take of that fruit, because in the day you eat of it, you will surely die. And they became aware of good and evil, and the desire for evil in their own hearts was provoked by that knowledge. And you see, that is what we're dealing with in the world that we live in. That's why our world is corrupt and continues to get more corrupt. It's because human desire, sinful desire, as Peter says it, is still alive and well, isn't it? But you see, in you and I, as believers in Jesus Christ, we've been given a new nature. And Peter doesn't go into great detail about it in this passage. But we know from other writings in the New Testament that that new nature, that divine nature, as Peter calls it here, gives us the ability to even now live in a way that is outside of the influence of sinful desire. Let me say it another way. You and I are no longer slaves to sin. We no longer have to sin. We have an opportunity to avail ourselves of the divine power God has granted us and to live in a way that's free from the influence and control of sinful desire. This is an amazing concept that we've got to get under our belts, because it's more than a concept, it's a truth. And we need to apply it to our lives by faith, which means not that we're wishful thinking, saying, oh, I hope and wish that I could get out of this sinful desire that I'm in. No, our role, our calling, is to believe this is true. We have escaped the corruption in the world that is present because of sinful desire, and begin to live differently because it is true. My friends, join me again tomorrow. We're going to be following up on these truths with some important instructions from our friend Peter. Join me again tomorrow and share the morning mindset with someone else.